Okay, let's say we're knitting patiently. And as we're knitting, we're not paying too much attention to what we're doing. And we drop a stitch. And we don't notice it. So we keep knitting. And this is a good point to make. Always check your knitting. So here we are. We look at our knitting and we see, uh-oh, seems to be a little hole here. Oh no, I dropped a stitch. Now what am I going to do? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Put the stitch on the right needle close to the edge and hang on to it with the back of your index finger or the front of your index finger, and then you are going to dip your left needle into the little hole. See the little hole beneath the stitch on the needle, on the right needle? You're going to dip into that little hole, into the front of it, and you're going to pull it over on your left needle, and you're going to let that stitch that was there go. Let's look at that again. Okay, there's a little hole under the right needle, and you're going to dip your needle, your left needle, into that little hole and pull the stitch off. And meanwhile, you're controlling the yarn right here with this index finger, the right index finger. Aha! Here's the stitch that was dropped off. So just very gently get it on the right needle and pull it over so that it's whole again. Okay, shall we do that again? All right, it dropped off. So we just stick the right needle into the dropped stitch and we put it where it belongs, back on the left needle, because it hasn't been knitted yet. And then we're going to stick the right needle in, knit it, pull it onto the right needle, and then go back again to your left needle and get your next stitch off. And you're going to continue knitting. So there you go. You've got all the stitches. Nobody's dropped off. Nothing looks worse for the wear. Nobody will ever know. But always check your knitting frequently and make sure you haven't dropped a stitch. And if you have, it's not a big deal. You just backtrack. Remember how you backtrack. Go into the hole underneath and pull the stitch back onto the left. Let's do it again. Underneath, into that little hole, pull it back and use this tension of this finger. And it's going to get loose, so you have to keep restringing it through your fingers. Because if you pull enough stitches the other way, it's going to get loose. Okay, how do we do that again? Put it in the hole at the bottom of the right-hand stitch, pull it off, and there you go. You can undo a whole row this way if you need to. Suppose you purled instead of knitting by mistake, or you knitted instead of purling, sorry. You're going to just pull them all off. There you go. Until you get to the last one, and then you just put that one over there, like this. Okay, let's see this again. You get to the very last one, just stick the left needle in and pull it over. See? So there you go. And then of course you would be ready to knit again. So you would take this stitch off and then you would start knitting. And that's something that it would be good to practice. It's good to practice making mistakes because we do make mistakes as we knit. Even the best knitters make mistakes. And we always need to remember that we have to go back and correct our mistakes as much as possible. So it's a good idea to practice dropping a few stitches and trying to go back and pick them up. And if you watch this over and over again carefully and slowly, and stop it if you need to stop it, and back it up if you need to back it up until you learn how to do this, because this is a very good thing to know when you become a knitter.